Hi guys, I am back after being away from YouTube for a few weeks. Let me explain myself. So I wanted to do weekly videos. That was my goal, my aim. But then I didn't think about things like, what if there's no internet? Or what if I have no privacy to do a video? So they're the things that have stopped me from recording a video for you for the past few weeks. So I have tons to update you on, so many things. So let me start from the beginning. Right, my last video, I did the music, the guitar, because I was doing the talent show in Brisbane in the retirement home. That was really fun. It was so cute watching everybody. It was really nice. And then 2 days later, I flew from the Gold Coast over all the way down to Melbourne. So I got to Melbourne and I was just so underwhelmed on my first day. I was really disappointed. I was just walking around and like, is this it? So yeah, I thought, okay, I need to make some friends because I need to find a way to enjoy this city. So I got talking to a girl in my dorm room, and then it just turns out that we have tons in common. And then we got talking to a few guys in the dorm room as well later on that day, and they're awesome as well. So we made this really great friendship group for the whole week that I was staying at this hostel. Every night we would meet up at about 7, go shopping, go and get food, and then come back to the massive kitchen that our dorm had, and we would cook the most incredible meals. And it was like this massive event, like so much fun. We cooked so much food, and it was super, super healthy, but super tasty because we all just, we all like really healthy eating. And one of my friends there, she's vegetarian, so we did awesome sort of vegan meals, and they were colourful and just full of amazing flavours, and it was so good. So that was the highlight of my day every day because we just had so much fun in the kitchen. So apart from that, when I was in Melbourne, I managed to pack quite a lot in actually. I did the normal touristy stuff. So I did a walking tour, and that was maybe the most fun part of my week actually. It was a free tour. You just pay a tip at the end if you think it's worth it, and it was really, really worth it. And I realised that Melbourne doesn't have tons to look at. It's not the most exciting place, but luckily the tour guide was so, so good, and he made Melbourne maybe way more exciting than it actually is. So I had loads of fun, and then I appreciated the city a lot more from it. I also went and found this really cool graffiti art street, and apparently it's really famous. Can't remember the name, sorry. But it reminded me of being back home in Brighton, because Brighton's full of incredible graffiti art, and this part of Melbourne is as well. So yeah, really enjoyed that. And I went there with my new friends from my dorm room, so we all had a really good time. Took loads of pictures and plastered Facebook with our pictures later. Also, I had a job interview. So the interview is at a photography studio, but they have a studio in Sydney as well. So the interview was in Melbourne, but the job's in Sydney. So I went over, went really well. Then I had the rest of the day just turned into a trial, and then they asked me back for day 2 of a trial. So I was just shadowing and seeing how everything works and stuff. So that went really well, and they offered me the job. So that's cool. So then I had to basically get from Melbourne to Sydney because I had this job that I'd been offered. But I decided I need to make the most of my travel from one place to the other, even though I didn't have very much time to get there. So I took the Greyhound bus, and I stopped on the way in Canberra. So Canberra is the capital. That's the word I'm going for. Okay, Canberra is the capital of Australia. So you'd think it would be Melbourne or Sydney because they're the big cities. They're the famous cities where all the cool stuff happens. But no. It's Canberra. There's quite a funny history as to why it's Canberra. You can Google that. If I tell you, I'm going to use up way too much of my video time. So I was okay, I need to go to Canberra. I need to see it. And I did my first ever Couchsurfing experience in Canberra. And if you don't know what that is, Couchsurfing is where people have a spare room or just a couch, and they let you stay there for free. because they genuinely want to meet other people from all around the world. And a lot of people who do it have been travellers before, and then they've got back home, and it's like their way of giving back and still feeling a little bit like they're travelling, even though they're not, because they're talking to travellers. So the guy I stayed with was awesome. So now I have a new friend in Canberra. His flat was incredible. Like, the views were insane. It was such a nice experience. And I hung out with my host's friend as well. Like, we went out for dinner. The disappointing side is that Canberra was really, really dull. It's a place where, like, the government or parliament, something like that, like, they do all their stuff there. Like, all the official stuff of Australia to do with the government, it happens in Canberra. So it's not very interesting. I managed to do everything in a day, which is saying something for the capital of the country. Yeah, it's not my favourite place, but you know, my host was awesome, so I would totally go back just to like hang out with him and see if there's anything else I could potentially do in Canberra. So from Canberra, got the Greyhound bus to Sydney, arrived here, booked myself into a hostel, and then literally the next morning I started my job here in Sydney. And I'm actually in the studio at the moment. We're closed today, but I am currently staying here. That's a whole new story for you. So let me do a little spin. So I'm in the makeup room. So this is what it looks like. And you can't see the actual studio because it's behind the curtain behind me. But I'll do another video so you can see it. It's underwhelming. Don't get too excited. So I've been here for how long? Maybe almost 2 weeks is how long I've been working here. And you know, the nature of freelance photography is that it's freelance, it's part-time, and they can tell you the night before, oh, actually we don't have any clients, so don't come in tomorrow. I kind of got used to that in London, but it doesn't mean I'm happy about it. I wasn't happy about that in London. I'm not happy about it here because it's already happening. But when I actually have had a client, you know, I've had so much fun because I love photographing people and I love creating something that's in their mind, and I love it when they see their pictures and they go, ah, it's me. So that's been the upside to it. So I'm actually staying in the studio now because it's free. This will require a whole new video. In fact, I'm going to do that next for you because you have got to see it. It's a whole new experience. So basically, some of their staff live almost 2 hours away. So if the staff do 3 days in a row, they need somewhere here to stay. And so they've got a few different beds kind of scattered around out of sight. They're like upstairs in the eaves. And there's kind of a bathroom. It's a shower, sort of, like it'll do short term. There isn't really a kitchen. There's a fridge, and there's a microwave. And then I created like a work surface, and I bought like a knife and a chopping board and like standard basic things so that I can kind of make food. So it's not the easiest, but it's free, so I can try and make a little bit of money because I spent more than I thought I would in my first month and a bit here in Australia. And that's purely on hostels and on food. Ridiculously expensive here. And I got warned it was expensive, but I didn't realise it would be this expensive. It's kind of crazy. So I'm trying to make that money back before I go and rent anywhere. Because rent as well it's like London rent. I don't know, maybe it's even more. It's going up and up here, and the wages don't match it. So I guess it's kind of is like London. I struggled in London. It looks like I'm going to struggle here. But luckily I can just move on whenever I want because I'm officially a traveller. So I have no official roots here. That's the good part of it. But no, I'm enjoying it so far. I made a few friends over the weekend, and that's basically been the highlight of my time here in Sydney. Because I've seen like all the cool places, like the Sydney Opera House and the like really awesome Sydney Bridge where they do the fireworks for New Year's Eve, and botanical gardens and stuff like that. And I did a Sydney walking tour again. Not as good as the Melbourne tour, but still good, but not as good as Melbourne. but it was sort of, I had a little bit of a downer on the whole thing because I didn't have anybody to share the experiences with, and I'm totally cool on my own. So happy to be like on my own, doesn't bother me, but also love company. Love people, obviously, because I'm a portrait photographer. Like, I love being around people. So I made 3 friends on Sunday and really liked them and just had the best day. Like, it probably has been my best day for like the whole time I've been in Australia. Um, and then all of a sudden Sydney was like fun again and cool. So it was kind of like in Melbourne. Like Melbourne was just like meh. And then I made these 3 friends. 3 again. Special number. So 3 friends in Melbourne, 3 friends in Sydney. And it's the people that have been making my experiences great. It's certainly not the place. So that's kind of cool. So that's basically where I'm up to right now. I'm sort of like semi-squatting where I live, where I work, sorry. Kind of getting by without a kitchen, sort of. Got some like clever tricks with that I figured out. I'll do a separate video with that whole living thing because you have to see it. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, so I've seen Melbourne, I've seen Sydney, I've been to Bondi Beach. But I've been to a few beaches, but all the best ones I've not been to yet. So when I go, I'll tell you all about them. I think that's it. I mean, I've kind of like skipped through like really quickly because, you know, I've done 3 weeks. But all in all, I am still loving being here. Definitely don't want to go back home to England anytime soon. Even though yesterday England had its first like proper sunny spring day, and that feeling's just like, you know, when you have that like first day of sun and the daffodils are out and the blossom starts to come out. That apparently happened yesterday. And that always makes everyone feel like super amazing. But it doesn't matter because I get sunshine here every day, except for today, because today it's raining. But never mind, it's been amazingly sunny every other day. So I will end my video here because I'm sure you're getting so bored of me talking now. And I will do my video of where I'm living / working because you have got to see it. Okay, I will sign out for now and I will hopefully be able to do another video for you around this time next week. So I will see you later. Bye.